This is Speaking on Songs with Holden Smith and Nate Luxo. Enjoy. All right, now we're both recording, and 1, 3, 2, 1, bop.
Oh, I was too
You
excited.
were way too excited
so
for that.
excited.
You
to
were
clap.
like, if you saw the video, guys,
I haven't clapped all week.
He was so close to it. He was like right up against the face of my palm.
Yeah.
You're ready for
the
that,
face of your palm.
The face of it.
The
Look at me
face.
dead in the eyes.
Hello.
Hi,
Holden.
hey guys, and welcome back
To Speaking on Songs.
Woo!
Yes, we're really happy to have you, and hope you're happy to have us.
You better be. We are monkeys, and we dance for you every week. Not every week, bi-weekly. Yeah, maybe they'd love us more if we did this week.
Yeah, that might be part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, not yet. Not yet. Not
Not yet. Okay.
Yeah.
What have you been listening to, Holden?
Well,
Got him.
oh my
I got him.
gosh.
I got him.
I'm so glad you asked. What have I been listening to? What have I been listening to?
Off the top of
let
your
me-
head.
I can't think. I've definitely listened to something. I've been listening to the Bygones. They released another single for the album that I've been talking about.
Yeah, hyping it up.
Yeah, it's glad. It was sad. It was like, I'm glad I knew you
Oh, dang.
before you were gone. I don't know if that's the next verse, but I'm sorry.
Featuring Kermit?
Did I sound like Kermit there?
There was like a tinge of Kermit.
Oh, that's great. And then Louis Zong released another single called Rise and Shine. And it's a lot of fun. He also like released something on YouTube that was like a jam with friends. And I really liked the groove that they had. It was like just him and his friend on a cajon. And like him on a grand
Cajon's
piano.
rule.
Him on a cajon. I really want a cajon now. I
Yeah?
feel like I try to record music, and the biggest pain is percussion for me because I don't understand it. I can't drum. And I do have a drum set, but I can never bring it around to the apartment because I don't want to make too much noise for everybody. So it stays
Consider
at
it.
home. But a cajon is a really cool box that I could learn, and I don't think it will annoy too many people. I'm gonna annoy people. I think I already annoy people.
So why care now, you know?
Exactly. There's just so
what will
much-
introducing a cajon do?
It's always so much chatter.
so much chatter.
in my face.
The amount of times you've said so much chatter today before we started recording. It's spilling
I
into the
just-
actual recording.
I was going over my meditation, my daily meditation, which
Yeah.
I'll talk about later.
Yeah. Goodness.
Was that all that I listened
You're
to?
sowing some seeds for what we're going to talk about today.
Oh yeah. What was the only thing?
I do want to say that it feels like YouTube is this trove of music that people don't tap into, and yet you're always able to find something. I feel like every time I talk to you, there's something new
Yes.
from YouTube that like I'm just overlooking like crazy. So
Yeah.
thanks for shedding light on that.
It's a different medium where like there's a video element
Right.
element where
Take me on my element.
I feel like newer artists can shine a bit more because you could see them. It's like a street performer.
A street performer,
So,
but
yeah.
you have the street on your lap.
I think I'm definitely missing something that I listen to, but we move on to knowing what you
We move
listen to.
Oh, I didn't come prepared. Just kidding.
I've never come prepared for this.
I was actually writing down the albums I listened to this week before I came over here, just to be prepared. Most of the usual suspects, like Suvyan, Little Sims, but everyone decided to drop something awesome yesterday and the day before. Like,
Really?
yeah. So I don't know if I've ever mentioned Huron John, but
I think so.
my buddy Elliot showed me him, and he's eclectic and kind of weird. Like he's the type of underground where like it's not easy to show him to people, but it's not like because it's really highbrow and like inaccessibly abrasive with the ears or anything. It's just like really odd the choices that he makes with his like bedroom pop, which I feel like we talk about every episode. Too bad. Yeah, his name's Huron John. he released the second part of an album that he dropped the first part of last year, and that is really good. I was listening to that on the way here. The Northern Belle dropped another single from their album that's coming out in March that I'm hyping up like crazy because it's going to be awesome. I talked about them last episode. Noah Khan dropped a song and a couple remixes of his old Stick Season songs.
He's really holding on to the Stick Seasons.
He said it's the final pieces. So, I don't know, but I'm happy about it.
Personally, I'm not.
You're not?
I'm not. I'm not a fan of that. You're digging a well.
Wow.
He better have an album soon.
Stick Season 2.
No, move
Stickier.
on. Do something else.
This time it's sticky.
I'm sure it's good. It's good music. It's like when a band takes time to make a cover of something. It's good.
Yeah.
But sometimes it just doesn't reach that height, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like a different iteration when you want something new.
Yes. I would definitely call this an iteration of Stick Season versus like a follow up or anything like that, just because it is extending it even more, you know. But some of the remixes or whatever are not really that good, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Like I think Gracie Abrams is fine, but her contribution to I think it's Everywhere Everything is horrendous. If you ask me, like I just like suffered through that. But the album itself, I listened to just the album itself before getting into more of the bonus tracks yesterday, and I think I finally realized it's like a 10 out of 10 for me, just because.
Really?
Yeah.
I have not listened to that album yet.
I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't feel, it feels consistent, but not one note. Like it doesn't feel like you get tired of the concept, but it's still a very like concentrated concept. He's not like reaching out into a bunch of different areas. He's getting the most he can out of that folk sound, I guess.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really good. I like it a lot. And Wild Rivers released a song. That one's really awesome. And Little Sims dropped 7 tracks. It's like 14 minutes across all of them. It's really short to the point. Not really my type of music, but I think she did well. There's one that I really like, and I forget the name. It's the last one though. So if you listen to the 14-minute EP/album, it's the last song. Yeah. Everyone dropping heat this week.
Exactly. Well then.
Well,
I think we gotta talk about a certain band.
Vulfpeck.
Vulfpeck. I just flew in from Berlin.
Vulfpeck.
Do you know where the Conscious Club is?
No. Not funny. Too soon.
I'm sorry, guys.
I already hate that I heard that song twice.
These are references.
We're going to be talking.
We're talking about the band Vulfpeck. Let me pull up their Wikipedia page.
Vulfpeck, which you know if you clicked on the title. But
did you ever donate to Wikipedia?
I'm a regular Wikipedia donor, yeah.
Amen. Me too. Not regular, actually. He's kind of angry with me.
When you guys are on good terms with Mr. Pedia.
Vulfpeck is an American funk band founded in 2011 in Ann Arbor, Michigan, by Jack Stratton, Theo Katzman, Woody Goss, and Joe Dart. The band has released 4 extended plays, 6 studio albums, and 1 live album through their own record label. I think that's accurate.
I wonder if that live album is going to be important.
It's really good. But we'll talk about it later. But yeah, no, this is a band that I really love. As speaking about the YouTube thing, they are the YouTube musician, like YouTube band. That's heavily they have this distinct style that I think they recorded on their iPhones, but they use this filter that makes it look like a recorder. And that's been their style for a while. If you ever go back, watch Deantown, that is their style right there. But they like to do other videos and stuff. And but they're very creative. Even in the video portion of their music, they are very creative. But also, they're just bringing back funk.
Yes.
Yeah, they've brought back funk to
I was like, you got to mention
the
funk.
mainstream, and their grooves are so good. These are like world class musicians coming together, and I don't know, they're just a fantastic rhythm section, and then they just keep adding onto it. Like they'll bring in singers, they'll bring in other people. Like they brought in Corey Wong to add some funk guitar, and
Yes, indeed.
I think he's now an official member.
Oh yeah.
Like
Even if
he's-
Wikipedia doesn't
even
say
if-
it.
Yeah. He's an official member. Same with
His
like
parents
Tom.
named him after a Vulfpeck song. Corey Wong. Yeah.
But they're like known for like their weirdness a bit too.
Yes.
They love to be weird and have songs that are weird, but it's a lot of instrumental funk, and they also push the bass a lot. Joe Dart is kind of like the leading man, and
Yeah.
he is like the lead guitarist that everybody would talk about, you know, like
He's
the Eddie Van
puppeteer
Halen.
behind Jack. Where it's
Exactly.
like, this is Joe's show, low key.
Oh man, and he's such a good bassist.
For real.
It is so hard to make a bass line stick out like that, to be melodic and also groovy.
If you're not the Beatles or the 1975, it's next to impossible.
Paul's not even doing what he's doing. Like, but like Paul's a good bassist, but like Paul does like the groove. He does.
It's not as foundational. It's not as foundational as Joe. Yeah, you're right.
Well, the opposite.
What?
It's the opposite.
I feel like Joe is like, he makes it like the building blocks off of which the rest of the song comes. Like without the bass line, it's like nothing. Whereas Paul, it's proficient, and it's like what the song needs. But with Joe, it's like, you can't do this without that's a bass line. It's like its own character.
Okay, I get that explanation. But yeah, this is the band. I've been a big fan of them for a while. How about you?
I found out about them like 5-6 years ago when one of their albums we'll talk about was released, and then I never really knew anyone else who knew them except Carter, you, and like a roommate or two from past and present. I never really knew that other people knew about them, and like their distinct style, like, it sounds redundant to say it sets them apart, but like when you find bands that like try for a very specific style, sometimes they fail, and you're like, you really need to just accept other styles and kind of borrow from more sources. But they like pour everything they can into this instrumental funk that is absolutely them. It's absolutely like, it feels like a friendship first and then a band almost sometimes. And I think they do a good job with that. And that's kind of been what I've known them for the past couple of years, as I've gotten to know them more through you, really. Like, you explained the Vulfverse to me a little bit more.
There's a big Vulfverse.
Vulfverse, yeah.
If you're like, you're done, you listen to all the Vulfpeck, don't worry. There's so much more music.
There's so much more.
I think they all do their own stuff. Except Joe Dart just is like a studio bass player outside of Vulf. Well, oh no.
So if you track all of his stuff,
they do the Fearless Flyers.
Fearless Flyers, yeah.
Yeah.
I just listened to that album recently. Yeah.
They're so good.
Tailwinds, I think it's called.
I have not dug deep into I've watched like live shows that they've done, but
yeah, okay.
But I haven't dug deep into their actual albums.
Yeah, my roommate and I were just talking about that album, or that band, really, that project.
But yeah, do you want me to start, or do you want?
Can you start? I'm shy.
No.
Oh. Okay.
I just want to say, runner up, The Beautiful Game. Just gotta say, it's not my number 5, but low key. Okay, we need to
say
talk about
before
this.
we start. Yeah. Okay.
Nate told me he thought that album is atrocious, and I see it so well. It has a really good start.
You confound me, Holden.
This
is your runner-up.
It is really good. Like, Sweet Science is just a fun way to just enter into an album. Animal Spirits, Dean Town. That is like 2 of their biggest songs. And then it goes Conscious Club. And I listen to it, and it's very obnoxious. It's a lot. And I just love it, dude. It's been in my head. I know that there's another album where the Conscious Club has no vocals.
Thrill of the Arts.
Yeah.
There's an instrumental version.
But it shows in both of them, the rhythm, it's the same thing. But the rhythm section in that is so groovy. The groove is so good. And
But at what
honestly,
cost?
I like the vocals, and I like how weird it is. This album makes me laugh with joy so much. It's so weird. With like 1 for 1 DiMaggio makes me laugh so hard.
Okay.
I love
remember that
song.
one.
You remember it? It's like 1 for 1,
Yeah.
2 for 2, 2 for 3. He missed, but it's still fun. I love it, man.
Oh man.
That's all. I just wanted to bring up and like let him feel the pain again.
Yeah, thanks, man. You didn't even have to because it wasn't in your top 5. And
It almost did that.
we need to talk about that. We're breaking a rule for this.
We can wait.
Okay, surprise.
Let's wait, because I think that'll be at the end.
That actually would have been better
It's-
if we didn't say anything, and
Yeah,
then they're
yeah.
like, like they're
Don't
like
say
doing the math
anything.
of which one's number 1. Yeah.
My actual number 5 is Thrill of the Arts.
All right.
It's their first one, the first album. They made like a lot of EPs, so they're not like, this isn't like their first release ever.
And it shows.
And it's just it's a good album. Like Back Pocket, Funky Duck, I just don't like. I feel
No.
like the groove is very boring, while also being the subject matter being kind of too kid friendly. And I not to like dog on it, because like you can have a kid friendly song and it'll rock. Like Phineas and Ferb, all of those are kid friendly, and there's a lot of bops in there. But I just feel like because of the groove not being good and the lyrics just not like, I don't know, he's a funky duck. I get it. And that's like part of the fun with funk. You kind of just repeat some stuff and be like, I'm gonna funk.
Yeah, it's
We're
about
gonna
the
funk.
feeling, or yeah.
But I just can't get behind that song. But Rango 2, Game Winner, Christmas in LA, that song is such a bop. Smile Meditation and Conscious Club, the instrumental. You get the the good parts.
The
of
instrumental,
Conscious
yeah.
Club.
Take out all the random experimental.
Welcome to the
yeah.
Conscious Club.
Yeah. I just had a ear flashback.
And Smile Meditation. I love, like, if you ever go on YouTube, look up, it's Chris Thile? I'm so sorry. But he's a really good
Tiley.
mandolin player. And, oh no, he's in the Madison Square Garden one. There's another version where he
Gotcha.
plays on that, and I think it's a little bit better. But I think it is a really solid start to like all like their albums. It has a really good instrumentals and also really good like vocal tracks. I think it does struggle with the vocal tracks because like Game Winner and Christmas in LA are the two good. Oh no, Back Pocket. I'm so sorry. Except
Dude.
I'm just excluding Funky Duck, but
Yeah.
for bringing us powerhouses and then the rest of the album being really good, gets a lot of points. I think Guided Smile Meditation was done way better in the live show. And this, it's very weird. And it goes on for way
strange.
too long.
It's like 4.5 minutes maybe. And
Yeah.
yeah.
It feels like filler. And you're kind of at a point where you're like, the album's over. And this is just a joke.
This is the Ferris Bueller skit at the end where you're like, okay.
Yeah. I get it. The movie's over.
Do you know the
Go
meme
home.
of like someone cutting a slice of cake and then taking the rest of the cake? I picture you cutting Funky Duck and then taking the rest of the album.
I kinda,
Like, this is, I'll take
sorry.
this. No, I got you.
Mhm.
I'm gonna repost that actually because Thrill of the Arts is my number 5.
Yo!
Like I think I like it and dislike it for some of the same reasons. They, like we said, like they get weird, and so much of their music, which I'll like obviously reiterate because it's such a hallmark for them, is it feels like an inside joke almost, because like I
Yeah.
said, they feel like friends first sometimes versus like a band, and then I would call them like music makers for music lovers. So like if you know what's going on musically, which you definitely do, and I mostly don't.
Kinda do.
I don't know.
You
like,
know more than you think.
maybe
That goes for everybody. You know more than you think.
you know more than you think.
You know. You
And
know what you did.
Think more than you know.
You know what you did. Don't ever forget that. And forgive yourself too. There's a path. Anyhow,
Anyhow, they're music makers for music lovers, and sometimes that gets prioritized so high that sometimes you're like, "Oh, you're really gonna sing about anything, aren't you?" And like, hence the smile meditation and the
Yes.
funky duck. And as much as I love Back Pocket rhythmically, and we will talk about this song again, because it's so fun. The put it in my pocket, put it in my pocket, in my back pocket, put it in my pocket, in my pocket, in my back pocket. It's so fun. And then you're like, what is the it? What's the antecedent to that pronoun? Oh, it's a do you like me, yes or no, that a fifth grader's given to another fifth grader. And I'm like,
yeah.
that's a little weird. He's like, this
Yeah.
grown man's like, be my fifth grade queen. That's a real line. This album is weird, and that's like an example. I love that song again, like musically, rhythmically, it's so cool. But there's like that weird Arrested Development sometimes they tap into, like you said,
Oh,
the
you're going
kid
that
friendly.
way.
I
I
feel like
think
they're
it's
like
too
AJR in that regard sometimes.
I totally get what you mean.
But if you don't think about it, if you just listen to the Thrill of the Arts front to back, almost like a background album,
Mhm.
because you're just getting those grooves and everything without being like, okay, I'm looking at this like a work of art that, because it's not just like one person's artistic vision, it's a bunch of people coming together. You're gonna get some like conflict. I feel like there's a bunch of stuff that I really like and a bunch of stuff that I really don't like, and they're held in such equal regard because they're prioritizing something totally different.
How do you like the beginning, like the lyrically, this album goes kid friendly to
Yeah.
like a guy trying to get with a girl,
Yeah.
and then
And then smile meditation.
Smile Meditation is the instrumental. Guided Smile Meditation.
Sorry.
And
Guided Smile.
Christmas in LA.
GSM.
Perfect song. Awesome song.
Okay.
But like
No
what I'm
no
saying
fight.
is like there's a little like too kid friendly, but then it like they kind of switching up to like a more serious
Yep.
thing.
And
Like you said.
like I said, like it's just borrowing from a bunch of different areas because that's not what they care about.
Yeah.
They care about making music as buddies, and it
Mhm.
feels like an inside joke that I'm out of, which is fine. Like
Yeah.
it's fine, but that's just why it's not my favorite album.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Go forth.
It's mine. This is where everything kind of there's like a lot of overlap of quality with your albums. I'll just say that. But that is also not an excuse. The Joy of Music.
The Job of Real Estate.
Oh yeah, that one. That's my number 4.
Okay.
And I just really like this one, but it doesn't blow me away. But like the quality of it, I think is just higher than Thrill of the Arts. And I think they do a better job with the instrumentals. I feel
It's very instrumental heavy. Yeah.
it's very instrumental heavy this time, which like I feel like if you go in order, I feel like they try to do more vocal and lyrical ones, but this one had more instrumentals. I think Hill Climber probably has like
Hill
the same
Climber
one,
is like a monkey wrench in that because that's so
Yeah.
instrumental. But yeah,
which is
You're
why
right,
actually I'll just spoil it. Hill Climber not on my top 5 just because of that. I feel like that kind of ruins it a bit.
wow.
I feel like if I had a vinyl, that would be awesome. Like, one A sides, all the singing ones, and B sides, all the instrumental ones. But I don't. I need my tossed salad, man. I need my tossed salad.
Understood.
If it's gonna be a Vulfpeck album, it needs to be a tossed salad.
And what's Hill
Scrambled
Climber?
eggs, anyhow.
And what's Hill Climber food wise?
It's a steak and a baked potato. It's good, but but the baked potato doesn't have any bacon or butter. Sour cream. It's just
It's not
a baked
loaded or
potato.
anything.
It's like, are you gonna argue that a potato's bad? No. But
better not.
like one side is very the porterhouse looks a little tastier than that.
Wow, you thought of that real
I
quickly.
think my roommate just came in. I don't know. I think I'm just hungry. But The Joy of Music, The Job of Real Estate is the instrumentals are so creative. Like you can get like Test Drive sounds like, you know, cars revving and it's like they're driving. Radio Shack is kind of the same way, where like you get the inspiration a lot from the instrumentals and the sounds that they go for, and it's just so groovy, funky as ever.
They're staples.
Yeah.
Those are their main adjectives for them.
And I just love 3 on E and LAX. I love those songs a lot.
LAX was a standout for me.
It's so I love my baby. She's the best.
She's the best. Who's that girl?
What?
It's just.
It is just. Anyhow, that's my number 4. What's yours?
MR Finish Line.
Mr.
That is a diss at the fact that they don't have a period after MR for Mr. Finish Line. That bothers me so much. I know it's Mr. Finish Line, but they're jerks for that. Mer Finish Line is my number 4, and it's not number 1 because of that. I'm just kidding. Mr. Finish Line feels like
matters,
it does. Don't worry, darling needs a comma. Anyways, Mr. Finish Line feels like a very reasonable successor to Thrill of the Arts, because like that's the album that just came out after it, and I feel like the crests are higher and the troughs are lower with that album, where it's like they lean into that creativity that made Thrill of the Arts so good, and they also lean into the weirdness that really detracted me from it. Luckily, it averages out in a net positive, and that's why I like it a little bit more. I love the first half, and
yes,
I think I like every song on the first half, which I don't think I could say that for any of the other except my number 1. So
there's one you might like.
But then it just kind of, I wouldn't say it devolves, but Captain Hook as the last song, come on. Like, that is not a note. That doesn't make me want to listen to the album again.
We'll wait on that.
Yeah, that's a surprise tool that'll help us later. Okay, great. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing I could say about that album, is that they lean into every quality that made their first album the way it was, for better or worse. But I love the first half, and I find the album enjoyable just for that half.
Totally understand. Yeah. Mr. Finish Line did not get first, but he made the top 5.
Yes,
and
he's not on the podium.
Scored some points,
but he competed.
Well, why don't we get on our podium, people?
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me that bronze.
My number 3. Give me that go.
Me at the tanning salon.
Schwitz. The sauna one.
Schwitz means sauna in Yiddish.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyhow, I don't see how that's related. Anyhow, for this one, they chose this random theme of being in a sauna, and first off, they get a lot.
I'm not interrupting. I'm sorry. I am, but I'm sorry.
I know it's not random. But it's very unique. If you go on YouTube, this was the first Vulfpeck album that I watched come out. They released the videos, and they did it all in a sauna. They had it's like a studio. I don't think it's an actual sauna, but they dressed up like it was a sauna. But these are some powerhouse of some songs right here.
Goodness gracious.
Sauna, Earworm, New Guru, All That's Left of Me Is You is such a well-written song.
Lovely.
Simple Step is such a groovy song. In Heaven's just a nice little break. Serve Somebody is such a good Bob Dylan
Bob
cover.
Dylan?
Yeah, Bob Dylan.
Yeah. They really upped the songwriting for this one.
No, it's Bob Dylan.
Wow.
It's a great album, and I think he gets a lot of points for that. The only thing I don't like, which might be weird, but they're all clearly there for all the songs, and it feels like it's very Antoine Stanley heavy, which is not a bad thing at all, but
just make him a member.
He is. Let's be honest, he is a member. I just felt like I wanted to hear a bit more instrumentals from this one. I feel like it was very vocal heavy, and they relied on Antoine a lot. which was a good decision to make a really good album. But like for me to be like the top Vulfpeck album, I want all of it. Joe Dart didn't really have his time to shine. Theo had one song, and well, I mean, to time to shine, he laid down some really nice grooves, but he didn't have his own song where he was kind of leading the melody. And
All That's Left of Me Is You. It's Theo's.
Well, yeah, that's Theo's. I'm talking about Joe Dart.
Good.
That one's really well written. It's just a
he wrote that one.
Really good album. What Do You Mean by Love is a cover from Theo, but they just switch it to Antoine. So I don't know how I feel about it. It's really well sung, but like I said, I don't know how I feel about just recontextualizing constantly your own stuff. I feel like you can make new stuff. And all that's to say, I feel like I said a lot of negatives only because this album is such a powerhouse that I could see it easily being my top album. There's just songs that I'm just not attached to, but I can realize they're so well written, well produced, like all the musicianship is all there. Just I want my instrumentals, man. Sana was great.
Yeah,
give me more.
Yeah, you can't not mention Sana. It's funny you say that about like recontextualizing, because that's what I feel like the Joy of Music, Job of Real Estate was. It was like half of it wasn't really original material. They were just like, all right, let's put this on an album, you know?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, that still makes sense to me.
I want to reiterate that was specific for that song, which I know was sung. It was fully made by Theo, and all that really sounded like it changed was a little bit of the music, but it's still Theo playing his same guitar parts and the same parts that he kind of does in live. So
right,
I just don't know how I feel about that. That doesn't bring the album down at all. It's a great song, and I like that it's there. But that is the reason why it's only my number 3, because I like the other albums better.
Nice.
3 for 3.
3 for 3. Me Trace as Hill Climber.
Hill Climber?
Hill Climber.
There we go.
Hill Climber. Hill Climber was the first album I heard. That was when I first discovered Vulfpeck. I think it was on like the iTunes front page or something, and I was like, this is a kind of a cool geometric album cover. I wonder what it sounds like. And then it was just mostly instrumental funk the whole time. I was like, this type of music can be made in the year of our Lord 2018, and I was like, this sounds awesome. And I think the instrumentals are amazing on that album. Like they are really creative. It's a really straightforward album. I don't really go through to think about it. It's really nice to have in the background, but that like ratio, I guess, of like really buying into their groove and just that fun that spills over into your own listening experience, you know, like it feels like it's not an inside joke anymore, where it's like, oh, I'm in on it. I can feel what they were going for. You feel totally in on it. The ratio of that to the weird stuff that can kind of push you away, or definitely pushes me away on the other albums, it feels extremely high with that album. Like maybe that means they didn't take as many risks as they usually did, and they like kind of went more conservative, which like I could see why that would be something that a fan of theirs wouldn't like. Like I totally get it. I get why it's not in your top 5. I'll get over it. But I really like it, and it feels a little bit safer, but just a good solid album.
Yeah.
For those reasons.
No, Hill Climber's amazing. I love all the Theo songs. They just hit you with all these Theo songs.
Theo. Yeah.
Yeah. Which well written. Like Lonely Town. Love that. Love that. Love it so much. Man. I think it's number 2.
We're already at the silver, yeah. It's like that.
Man. Such a lively number.
1 is the loneliest number that you'll ever do. 2, wait, no. 2 is just as bad as 1. It's the loneliest number since the number 1.
I get that.
Thanks.
Get that.
I just came up with that.
Mine is Live at the Madison Square Garden. That's right, people. live albums can make the top 5. Live albums from now on. Live albums if they transcend all the other albums. And it's such a good performance, and it's so well mixed, brought to you in a streaming or physical media type of way. You could put that on the top 5, and there's no shame in it. It's not a best of. It's not lazy.
And you gave it the silver?
I give it the silver.
All right. I'm flabbergasted.
You give it
All right.
flabbergasted?
Yeah.
This was my first intro to actually watching like extended thing on YouTube. The whole show is all on there.
Amazing.
Everything, and it sounds just as good. They took a long time. They well thought out recording everything and making everything sound the way it did, and it sounds amazing. And the reason that it's like the Talking Heads Stop Making Sense.
Wow.
It's exactly like that. I feel like in this case, I feel like Talking Heads sometimes has songs where the studio quality is not as good. The studio quality of these songs are really good, but the live version, I don't know what happened, but like they're better versions of like most of these songs. Most of these songs sound just so much better because they're playing to a crowd and they're just having so much fun on top of the stage. Like, easiest example would be, I guess they don't include it, but the guided smile meditation.
Right, yeah.
It's so much better because it's like an actual person, and it's not like,
it's a live interactive experience versus
exactly.
the closing end of an album that is done. Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's just all of it's good. I feel like the comping of like Theo's voice, and I think there's a girl that sings with him in like Back Pocket on Thrill the Arts.
Right.
I like that's like a classic Vulf sounds. It's the very like kid kind of sounding way.
Youthful.
But in here you just hear his falsetto, and I think that just sounds better on Animal Spirits. I think it sounds better, and Corey Wong sounds so much better because it's like they're playing to a fake crowd on the studio album. They're playing to a real crowd.
It's so interactive.
It's so much better.
It feels more personal.
Mm-hmm.
It's an entirely different dynamic. Yeah.
I think this has that sound where like maybe it goes with what you said, where sometimes their music is for musicians when this album is clearly for the fans. And I feel the recontextualization that I said before I didn't like, I think in this live setting it makes so much more sense, and I'm just in love with the performance, man. I go back on YouTube and watch it all the time. If I need something in the background that I want, like I can focus on a little bit more, that is what I put on, because they just put on such a good show, and I really want to see Vulfpeck live.
That'd be so sweet.
Love this band. And yeah, I think the ball's in your court.
I'd say so. Yeah.
That was terrible.
Were you trying to pass me
I was
the
trying
ball?
to pass the ball, but then like I
it
just
looked like
tilted my
I asked you to
hand.
play basketball and you said no.
Like,
You're like,
no.
no, that's not my thing. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. Okay. Number 2 for me is Schwitz. Schwitz, steam room, sauna, whatever you want to call it.
I get it.
When I first heard Schwitz, I low-key detested it.
Really?
Like, I heard it on the way home from work, like, last summer or something like that, and I was like, I felt like an uptight old man. I was like, this is too fun. They need to get to the point. And then I heard the Bob Dylan cover, and I was like, oh, that's nice. More of that, please. And then they made Miracle and made a reference to Pokemon.
Yeah. That was the one
I was like,
thing.
this is too fun again. Yeah. But then I lightened up as a person, I think. I hope. And I listened to that album again at the beginning of this year, and it was entirely different. It was like where was this album? It was
Mhm.
I really liked all of the fun aspects. I loved Antoine Stanley's voice. I think before
Amazing voice.
it felt like a little disingenuous, but then that's just because they have a real polished sound anyway. You know, like it wasn't anything he did. That's just the sound they're going for. And when you recontextualize, because I hadn't listened to all of their stuff yet, you know, so I was just like, so listening to their stuff, understanding what sound they're going for, then I'm like, okay, I get it now. And once I got it, then I was all in. I was like, this is just a really fun album. And like you said, they go for that sauna theme. And so the songs are like, they like sound steamy and a little bit more like loose, if you will. And they have their white robes and
steamy.
All that's left of me is you. Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. Those songs are really well written. The sore thumb that sticks out is Earworm. That one I'm still not sold on.
Yeah.
That song makes me feel gross. I'm not gonna lie, because he likens
'Cause it's
earworms
stuck.
to actual worms, and I'm like, dude.
They are worms though.
I know. I'm glad it's the second. That's like the Captain Hook at the end of Mr. Finish Line makes me mad. But Earworm as the second song after Sauna proved how good they could be. I'm like, okay, I can endure Earworm for the rest of this album. And I do regularly. I return to this album a lot. It's super good. 2022 was just the year for music. Goodness gracious.
It was really good.
Everyone brought their A game 2022.
You know, what else brought it? It's a game.
I'm trying to... I tossed you a softball.
I don't think you're going to agree with me.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I just really like it. And I don't know. I like when I was listening back, I was like, I kind of think this album's my favorite. Mr. Finish Line.
Finish Line.
I really like this album. I feel something that you don't like, that I think I look for in Vulf, is its weirdness.
Right.
I love its weirdness. I love... Sometimes it can get too much. But I love it's kind of like when they can figure out how to hone it in and give it to us in a fun way, just to give us like a way to transport funk into our brains. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think there are so much strong vocal, like lyrical songs, along with a couple little instrumentals in here. And I think it strikes a really good balance of that, while also not doing what Hill Climber did and not being afraid to mix up instrumental songs with the vocal ones.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just love the weirdness of it. Like Mr. Finish Line is very weird. It has the weird I don't know, some lines are very weird, and like what is Jack's voice sometimes he does that weird like, what is it, the 80s? Mr. Finish Line. Or
He
something
sounds like the band Cake.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was a big comment I heard with his, when he did his solo stuff as Wolfman. Like, for, what's that album called? The one that has I'm Nice to You.
I think it's just Vulfpeck.
Is it just called Wolfman?
I think the first one is Vulfpeck.
Okay.
And the next
but the
one
one where
might be
he's
called something
cross-legged
different.
and making fun of emos.
We can find that out.
Oh, yeah. We have resources.
A phone.
Yeah.
Please, dead air, fix it.
That was a big comment I heard on that album, was that he sounds a lot like Cake, and I agree.
Oh, the first album's called Here We Go, Jack. And then the
That's
next
right.
one's called Vulfpeck. Sorry,
Wolfnick.
Jack.
Yes, Wolfnick.
Listen to those. If you like the weirdness, you get more of
It
that.
leans
there.
into that for sure.
Yes.
Yes.
But I just love the songs here lyrically as well. Like Birds of the
Interesting.
Feather.
Birds of the Feather is a good song.
It's such a good song. Baby I Don't Know is just fun. Like the live version a bit better, but Mr. Finish Line is just fun. I think the fun, the weirdness, while also being so groovy and so like A+ world class musicianship, and bringing us the grooves, bringing us some instrumentals too, and switching it up. I just love it.
It's
All
probably
along.
their boldest album.
It's
Is that
very
accurate?
bold.
Yeah.
I mean, Their boldest is A Beautiful Game.
Okay.
And the only Beautiful Game, I think I like the weirdness in that, and I love the songs. I think it just peters out at
But
the
it
end.
has Conscious Club on it. How can you forgive that sin?
You listen to it again and again, and you just get it. You get it.
Not
I get
worth
exactly.
it. Not worth it. I'm good dying not getting that song. Stop. Not funny. I'm just playing.
But I also
good.
love. I need to mention Captain Hook.
You do.
Did not like that at first. Kind of like it now.
It grew on you. Bootsy
It grew
Collins
on me.
cast his funk spell on you.
He did. He reminded me
funk.
of a Silk Song.
Oh, yeah.
Silk
Silk Sonic.
Sonic.
We should rank them.
We should rank them in all their albums. Like this video if you want us to.
If Silk
rank
Sonic's next.
Silk Sonics. But yeah, I think Mr. Finish Line is one of those Vulf albums that works on all cylinders. The most.
Fair.
But I kind of love them all. Yeah, that's right. All of them are my number one.
Oh, plot twist.
But Mr. Finish Line for what we're doing,
For all
I think is
purposes.
my favorite.
Yeah.
I think it's the one I'm going to go back to a lot.
That's fair.
All right. Why don't you turn in your papers? Time's up.
Here, Professor. Pencils down. As you can see, I just
Pencils
wrote
up.
down live at Madison Square Garden.
Oh! That was really loud. I'm going to have to turn that
It
down.
was. Nah, you don't have to. They tolerate us this much.
No. I care about you listeners.
So, number one is live at Madison Square Garden. But it's number one. We're breaking that rule of just studio albums because there is there's a colossal chasm, a gargantuan gap, a giant jump in quality between Schwitz and live at Madison Square Garden for me.
Really?
This is absolute. It's it's a new band.
Transcends.
Yes, their weirdness is everything is acceptable, and I think it's just because it's so communal and everything is, there's a huge emphasis on togetherness and making it a fun show for other people and involving the crowd. There's with Back Pocket when they do Peccapella.
Yeah.
And because we said they have so many musicians and music theory lovers in their fan base, they can do those 3-part harmonies and have each section of Madison Square Garden sing at the perfect pitch to do that song without any instruments. And it's amazing. It's amazing. I feel like this album, you compared it to Stop Making Sense, which I think that praise is highly apt and aptly high. I get it because they lean into everything. They're still very much themselves. It doesn't feel like they're catering it or pandering. It just feels they're bringing everyone into their band almost. That's how it feels when you listen to it. It's on a whole other level versus their studio stuff. And I think that's what I return to the most. Besides, Schwitz is just 10 tracks. It's 35 minutes or something. So I just it's just a quick little listen versus this one's an hour over. An hour.
It's an entire show.
It's
You paid nothing for it.
Yes, but I do prefer every live version of every song that they include on this, and it's phenomenally structured and it's fun. I like the fun a lot.
Yeah.
They convince me and bring me in. It's such a great album. I love it. It's my number one. Cry about it.
Really?
Yeah. Don't cry about it.
I could never cry about that because you're exactly right. I think you brought up another point where they're a different band when they're live.
It's different.
They're both good. They're both, the studio and live are both good, and they've proven that a lot. Live band is something different, and I think they are also a proponent of a reason for people to go out and see live shows.
Yeah, it's a whole different sector of the art form that they just dominate and shine.
I just love. I'm gonna wait. They probably featured him, so I can actually know his name. But that mandolin player plays in that.
That Mando.
This is the way.
Mando Calrissian.
Oh we go. It's Chris Tile or Chris Thile?
I don't know.
Thile. I'm sorry. You are the best. I love your mandolin playing. And I loved your playing in the concert. And I just love how Vulf kind of like is like no ego. Just
No.
like come on in, sing the lead for this track.
Yeah,
It's gonna sound good.
exactly.
Yeah. Dang, we just did it.
We did it.
Mm-hmm. Did your opinion change on Vulfpeck when you did this?
I liked. No, I can't say that. I like Beautiful Game less. That's pretty much
I
it.
liked it more.
No, not when I did this, just because I'd listened to Schwitz a little bit in January and had started liking it more then. I don't think I would have guessed it was a number 2, but I definitely had already started liking it more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it solidified everything that I was thinking. So, yeah. What about you?
I think it changed how I look at the bands, and I feel like I see like the formula that they go for, and how they interact with each other, and it's nice to remind myself that Joe Tart exists, and he's an awesome bass player, and I love just hearing his stuff and the Vulf stuff. It's really good.
That's awesome.
I also reminded that like Theo Katzman is a really good writer.
He is
really good.
When they give him the pen, he delivers.
Every time he does that. And I hope we do the same. Hi guys, and thank you. Hi guys, thank you for watching.
Hey, didn't see you there.
Didn't see you there. Can you say Vulfpeck?
We're not.
This is Dora. No. This is also not funny, so I'm gonna end it real soon. Thank you guys for listening. Please comment. Please check out the poll or whatever we have down there on Spotify.
Yeah.
Apple, we just love you. Thank you for listening. And yeah, guys, thank you so much.
Yeah, we'd love to know your opinions. Who we should talk about next, what we should talk about. We want to know it because we appreciate you.
Yeah. Share with your friends and keep listening to good music. See you guys.
That's good.
Bye.
Bye.